Doha's night sky was meant to be impenetrable, a digital shield built from billions in air defense. But when the attack came, the system failed, silently, completely. The world's most expensive defenses were useless, bypassed as if they didn't exist. That illusion was shattered in a single night. The message was clear: wealth can't buy security in the age of algorithms and electronic warfare. The first explosion in Doha's diplomatic quarter was almost dismissed as construction noise, until more followed in rapid succession. Precision strikes targeted buildings linked to Hamas, sending a message to Qatar about the risks of its foreign policy. Flames and shattered glass transformed West Bay from a symbol of stability into a war zone. The attack was calculated: maximum political embarrassment, minimal civilian casualties. Embassies of global powers stood next to burning towers, their security assumptions shattered. The illusion of Doha as a safe, neutral ground was destroyed in minutes. Israel's choice of targets was psychological warfare, showing it could strike anywhere, anytime. The world's diplomats realized their missions were vulnerable in a city whose airspace had just been proven porous. Phone lines between capitals buzzed with urgent questions about regional stability. For Doha's residents, the attack was a trauma, safety replaced by fear and uncertainty. The city's identity as a hub of commerce and diplomacy was replaced by the reality of being a front line in a shadow war. The psychological impact far outweighed the physical damage. The attack forced Qatar and the world to confront a new era of vulnerability. The sense of invulnerability was gone, replaced by a new unsettling reality. The architects of the attack were Israel's Golden Eagle Squadron, flying the F-35 Adir, an advanced stealth fighter and electronic warfare platform. The Adir's design makes it nearly invisible to radar, appearing as little more than a blip, if at all. These jets didn't fly directly in. They exploited radar gaps in terrain, slipping through undetected. The F-35I's sensors gave Israeli pilots a godlike view of the battlefield, seeing threats before being seen. The real advantage: launching long-range missiles like the Rampage from far outside Qatar's defensive reach. The combination of stealth, intelligence, and standoff weapons made interception impossible. Qatar's Patriot and Aster systems were formidable, but built for old threats, not this new kind of warfare. Israel didn't just evade Qatar's defenses, it rendered them obsolete. The F-35 Adir proved that military revolutions aren't about bigger bombs, but smarter, invisible platforms. Even the best-funded militaries are now struggling to keep up. The true genius of the strike was electronic warfare, winning the digital battle before the first missile launched. Israel likely used sophisticated EW to manipulate Qatar's sensor network, turning its strength into a weakness. Instead of brute force jamming, they created a false reality: ghost targets, phantom aircraft, and corrupted data. While Qatari operators chased illusions, the real F-35S slipped through unnoticed. Network intrusions sowed distrust and paralyzed decision-making. As the jets approached, their onboard EW suites made them invisible, even feeding false locations to enemy radars. Qatar's billion-dollar systems became unwitting accomplices in their own defeat. The attack exposed a critical vulnerability. Reliance on sensors and data links makes modern militaries susceptible to digital manipulation. Israel showed that controlling the electromagnetic spectrum is now the key to victory. For Qatar, the realization that its entire defense could be unplugged at will was the most shocking blow. The future of warfare belongs to those who dominate the invisible battlefield. After the attack, the world waited for Qatar's response, but none came. Retaliation was impossible, trapped by political, military, and regional realities. The biggest constraint: Al Udeid Air Base, home to thousands of U.S. troops and the nerve center of American operations in the region. Any Qatari strike risked dragging the U.S. into conflict with Israel, an unthinkable scenario. Qatar's leadership knew it couldn't jeopardize its relationship with its ultimate security guarantor. Militarily, Qatar was outmatched. Israel's power and willingness to escalate made any response suicidal. A token counterattack would have triggered a devastating Israeli retaliation, possibly targeting Qatar's energy infrastructure. Regionally, Qatar stood alone. Its independent foreign policy had left it isolated from Gulf neighbors. There was no solidarity from Riyadh or Abu Dhabi, only silence. The Gulf Cooperation Council offered no support. Hemmed in by allies, outgunned by adversaries, and isolated diplomatically, Qatar had no real options. The only choice was to absorb the blow and hope for restraint. The attack exposed not just military weakness, but political vulnerability. Qatar's hands were tied, its anger swallowed. The strike on Doha sent shockwaves across the Gulf. In Riyadh and Abu Dhabi, there was initial satisfaction. Qatar, their rival, had been humbled. But satisfaction quickly turned to anxiety. If Israel could defeat Qatar's defenses, what about their own? Billions spent on Western air defense now seemed like a false comfort. The attack exposed a flaw in the entire Gulf security architecture. The silence of Qatar's radars echoed in every command center from Riyadh to Dubai. The result, a frantic new arms race, not for more missiles, but for counter-stealth and electronic warfare tech. Gulf states will demand answers from their Western suppliers, deepening their dependency on sensitive software and intelligence. The event may accelerate secret security cooperation with Israel, but also complicates regional alliances. Israel's overwhelming technological edge is now undeniable. The strike was a message to Qatar, but its neighbors heard it loudest. A warning that sovereignty is only as strong as your ability to see the invisible. The Gulf faces a new era of shared vulnerability and competition. The Doha attack marked the dawn of a new era in warfare, where code, silicon, and stealth matter more than numbers. The first rule, visibility, is a liability. If you can be seen, you can be destroyed. The F-35E Adir proved that true invisibility means operating with impunity, even in the most defended airspace. The second rule, control of the electromagnetic spectrum, is the new high ground. Electronic warfare now shapes the battlefield before the first shot is fired. Defense is no longer about walls and missiles, but about digital resilience and cyber expertise. Speed and precision now trump mass and firepower. The entire kill chain, from detection to destruction, has been compressed into seconds. Defenders have no time to react, no time to understand. The lines between peace and war are blurred. Attacks can come anytime, from anywhere, without warning. For nations in volatile regions, this is a terrifying new normal. Defense must be proactive, constant, and technologically advanced. The future of war is here, faster, stealthier, and smarter than ever imagined. In the aftermath, Doha was gripped by shock and uncertainty. The physical damage was repairable. The psychological damage was not. Qatar's image of invulnerability and global influence was shattered. The leadership faced an existential crisis: double down on independence or seek safety in alliances. For citizens and expatriates, the attack destroyed the Doha bubble of safety and stability. The knowledge that a foreign power could strike at will changed everything. Qatar's appeal as a safe haven for business and families was deeply shaken. The path forward demands more than buying new weapons. Qatar must transform its military doctrine, invest in indigenous expertise, and rethink its foreign policy. Hosting controversial groups now carries existential risks. The nation must decide: maintain independence or trade some sovereignty for security? The silence in Doha is the sound of a country grappling with its future. The answers will define Qatar for decades to come. The attack on Doha cast doubt on the very idea of national sovereignty in the 21st century. If a wealthy, well-defended nation can be rendered helpless, what hope is there for others? Borders and airspace mean little against stealth, cyber warfare, and precision strikes. The gap between nations with cutting-edge tech and everyone else is now a chasm. True security may only be possible within powerful alliances, at the cost of some independence. This creates a new dependency, not on colonial rule, but on technological superiority. Developing indigenous defenses is a multi-decade, multi-trillion-dollar challenge. The Doha strike is a watershed moment, exposing the limits of checkbook security. In the invisible war for the electromagnetic spectrum, there are only the quick and the dead. The world must now ask, is the concept of inviolable airspace obsolete? And what does the future of national defense look like?